We can talk about education, we can talk about economy, we can talk about criminal justice, we can talk about healthcare, we can talk about culture and society, other infrastructure, right? There's so much to solve, right? But personally, are there any issues that you're more drawn towards? Even gender issues?
Yes, I think gender issues is one of the prime things, and it horrifies me every time I sit through like a meeting which concerns issues. And I think almost like every issue does obviously concern gender, whether it's access to education, hospitals, or anything at all, because everything has a sort of a systematic bias when it comes to these gender norms. We don't take genders into perspective. We don't understand women have greater accessibility issues than men. When making a transport framework, we don't understand that women mobility is far adversely affected than male mobility. So every time I'll go onto these meetings, I would see it's an all-male panel and not a single female. And even when I used to go in these meetings as a junior associate, I would be sitting all the way at the back. So observing like all these policies and decisions being made with no woman in context, with lack of diversity, or even if one or two women, but like compared to that 20 other men within that room who had a heavier voice, who were more predominant in discussion and discourse as opposed to the women. So I think that is the one issue, and knowing that so much is happening even in Lahore and Islamabad, and these are major cities to talk about when it comes to harassment, when it comes to like poor laws and legislation against women, when it comes to like openly violating women's rights in public spaces. So it really does shake you up to see all this happening. But unfortunately, this is the one issue which is so hard to resolve because it's like a cultural, behavioral mindset thing. It's not something that can be done overnight. But this is something that's very close to my heart. We have written a bit of policy recommendations and other sort of like papers that can actually assist with it. And I can't take the personal benefit of this, but there is like people in the government right now who are working for this. Like, for example, recently this, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but this sexual harassment line has opened up. You download an app, it's a women's safety app, exactly. And the second you hit 15, then you can actually alert the police, and there is a special cell that's sitting there to look into gender harassment and gender related issues. And if you feel like you're being followed, you can share your live location and a SWAT team will be sent over to follow you from there. Again, there was no personal contribution on my end, but I'm just trying to tell you like how there is a huge issue within the society that's close to everyone's heart. And I think it requires a cultural shift. And I think it requires the biggest shift would come from education, of course, because that's where socialization process comes from. So lower levels, primary school level and everything. But there is work being done in this field, and I'm hopeful that I would be able to contribute in this field as well.